teaching myself how to sew with leather. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made a Dopp kit for my nephew. Where I ended up is not where I started. Let me tell you all about it. So, I've been teaching myself how to sew leather for about a year. I do have a good machine that can sew leather, and I come from a sewing background, but there's a lot about it that I'm still learning. So I wanted to challenge myself to make this video that would kind of document my process and my learning curve. So I started out making a Dopp kit. They're not very big. I thought they would go well. I used to make them in fabric for people in my neighborhood. They were a great little place to stash candy and stuff to give to people, and they weren't difficult for me. They were pretty easy, and so I thought, well, you know, people make those out of leather. Maybe I could try to make that out of leather. So I got started, and I thought I would use some veg tan. As I got going, the veg tan was a lot heavier than I was prepared for, and it's very stiff. It didn't have the malleability that fabric does, and there were a lot of things I wasn't used to. So this video starts where I kind of had tried some things with the veg tan, and then I realized the mistakes I was making, and I made a new plan. So here's me in the middle of the process, realizing that everything I had done up until this point wasn't going to work, and making a new plan with how to move forward. Okay, here's where we're at. So the clips were not holding, so I had this genius idea to tack it with the sewing machine on the centers so that I could figure out how to get it to go around this corner. But before sewing on my bag, here's my lovely mistake right here. Before sewing it on the bag, I thought I would practice on a scrap. So what I did is I tried to make a little dart on the corner. So I snipped it and I tried to sew it into a little dart, and it wouldn't. It didn't sew, so I thought, well, we'll try and sew it on and see what happens if I just kind of force it. So it's a forced little dart here. And I got it to go around the corner. The stitching is not very straight, but I was like, okay, well, maybe. And then when you turn it right side out, it looks awful. First of all, this is just overlapped. It's not sewn. The stitches, I mean, I could pound that a whole bunch, but they just look awful. And I don't feel like this would be any better if I sewed it with the seam out. I feel like this leather is just too heavy for this application. So, what to do? I still have my patch here, but I got some gum trag on it in a couple of places. And so I tried to get it off with saddle soap, and that left light spots, if you can see, and weird colors around where I tried to get it off. So I'm not really sure what to do here either. I'm thinking of taking it down, making it smaller, cutting off some of those spots maybe, possibly stitching right around the good old state of Missouri here. Anyway, this is what you get when you're learning how to do something. As I was going through some scraps, I did find some small scraps of black, and it's a little more like chrome tan. It's a little bit softer, which I have worked with before. So I think I'll probably switch over to this and just, you know, the high contrast hopefully will end up looking okay. I was thinking of still using this handle because I like how this turned out. Maybe kind of coordinate and contrast and cross our fingers and hope for the best. You already saw this sitting there done. I kept the handle, so here's how I did it. The glue I use is a wet contact glue. I'm still learning how to adjust my machine, so this seam left a few pressure foot marks. I did adjust it what I thought was a long way, but apparently it needed a little more. I got most of the marks out hydrating with some Smiths. I used a cloth, thinking I could pick up more at a time. You can tell what a beginner I am by my slicker. It's seriously lacking the patina that comes from use. I'll get there. Chrome tan and softer leather doesn't slick very well, so I went with edge coat to smooth the fibers together and shine it up. This is what I was sewing on the veg tan when everything went sideways. So I hope you'll forgive me if I only show me sewing the second side. I folded the side piece and the loop and found the centers on each side to match up. The clips worked really great on this softer leather. So there you have it. I learned a lot. I still have a lot to learn, but it was a great experience, and it was kind of cool making such a big mistake, but figuring out a way to fix it and make it into something that was unique and cool. So thanks for watching, and cue the glamour shot.